Hi, everyone. My name is Bobby, and I've been doing a NBA podcast this whole season. I've been a huge NBA fan my entire life, and some of my earliest sports memories involve the Lakers and their first three-peat in the early 2000s, late 1990s, or as the kids call it, the late 1900s, which is a little hurtful. So today I'm going to be making a tier list of how I feel about teams from my vantage point as a Lakers fan. And I want to be clear about one thing. I am just one Lakers fan. That does not mean that my opinions will hold true for everyone else, all the other Lakers fans, but it could be the case. And just the way I have it set it up is S tier. Well, obviously. But A is like if I usually root for this team, sometimes root for. C is like depends on the opponent. D is I might typically root against them, and F, see there's a color similarity, and we'll just put FTC. You can figure out what that means. But yeah, so let's get started. We're gonna start off with the Hawks. Now I feel kind of like neutral about them as a player. I know there was talk we might get DeJounte Murray, which I'm kind of happy we didn't get. I don't know if he's the right fit here. But I would say we're starting off with really it depends on the opponent. Next we have the Brooklyn Nets. This one is tough because I felt differently about how I felt about this team a few years ago when they had different players on it, but now it's not. It's kind of this. It really depends who they're against. No one really excites me. No one really hurts me. And the Hornets, man, I forget they exist. So I guess it really depends on the opponent. We're starting strong with all these teams. Probably a couple of years ago, the Nets would be in the root against category. Next, we have the Bulls. You know, they haven't been good in so long that I sometimes find myself rooting for them. I know. But we also have that Phil Jackson connection. That's hard to deny. And, Kobe based a lot of his game off of MJ. And both franchises, I think, obviously, like, the Bulls were a powerhouse, but the Lakers at the time, I don't know if they were necessarily the number one title contenders if it weren't for the Bulls. So I don't think it's, we were good at different enough times that we might not hate each other. The Cavs. All right. Well, we have LeBron, and generally, I usually root for the Cavs, the first team in there. I rooted for them when they had LeBron. I rooted for them when LeBron left so dramatically the first time. I rooted for them when he came back, and I just kind of, I have no ill will towards the city of Cleveland, and also where I live in Los Angeles is not the nicest part of town. We'll put that. And there's a very funny Cleveland tourist video that kind of makes fun of Cleveland. And my area in Los Angeles has a tourist video that's quite similar. And so maybe I feel I feel the vibes there. So root for Cleveland. The Mavs. Probably, if we're being honest as Lakers fans, we're probably just rooting against them a little bit. The Dirk and the Lakers, we didn't necessarily have a huge rivalry, but they're a good team in the West, and I think it's fun to root against Jason Kidd, and some people are mixed on Luka. I personally I'm okay with him, but yeah. All right, the Nuggets, I know they beat us last year, but I probably root for them more than I don't. But I'll say root for sometimes. The series that we had, they swept us, and they didn't destroy us except for like one game, but like it was all very close. But they were very respectful. I feel like if you watch I almost said. A thing that could have gotten me quite a bit of hot water there. If you listen to Nuggets, Lakers games, after the game, it seems like everyone's vibing. So I think if they have good vibes, and I feel like Denver I feel like everyone in LA wants to move to Denver, and so we probably have a similar vibe going on. Pistons. I mean, we used to root against them. They beat us in 2004. I haven't forgot about it, and it was it was almost cool watching them break history, but it really depends on the opponent. That might be the case for a lot of East teams. It really depends on the opponent. Root against probably the Warriors. We are rooting against the Warriors, and even more so than the Mavs. The Warriors kind of came out of nowhere after being mediocre for so long, and then we're amazing at Dynasty. There's always going to be a bit of NorCal SoCal rivalry, unlike the other sports. When I think of baseball or when I think football, I think a lot of there's a NorCal SoCal rivalry, but I don't feel that as much when it comes to basketball, just because I think so much of Lakers' hatred for so long has been towards the Celtics. At first I was like, go Warriors, and now I'm like, Rockets, again, probably Rockets of old we're rooting against, but probably now, man, this is gonna be a big tier. It really depends on the opponent. Right now, I don't think about the Rockets. If I were to forget a team in the West, honestly, it might be them, which is sad because there's some other teams that might be more forgettable. Pacers. I'm rooting for you. I think we're going to see a trend where me and my massive city were rooting for more of some of the smaller cities, but I go Pacers. No strong. I have no reason really to root against them, so I might as well root for them. Though, Clippers. Oh God, the Clippers are tough. Because I'm from LA, and so we got kind of this like big brother, little brother thing, which I'm sorry, Clippers fans, if that sounds patronizing. I don't mean it to. I genuinely don't. And so it's like, I laugh when the Clippers lose in like really embarrassing ways, as I'm sure they do when we lose. But at the same time, like, I probably like secretly want them to do well, but I can't really talk about it. So like, you know what? I think we need to. This is what we need to do. We need to add. There we go. All right. We'll just call this the Clippers tier because that's how we feel. Oh no, I changed the color here. We're just gonna nope. We won't deal with it. We're gonna. There we go. And we're gonna fix this one. I'm making it worse. Yeah, we got the Clippers tier, and then. Yeah. Okay, cool. Next, we got the Grizzlies. Man, last year, playoffs. My girlfriend would disagree. Who's a Lakers fan, but she's also lived in Tennessee. So, we got bad blood, Grizzlies. We won't forget. Dylan Brooks. You know what? I forgot Dylan Brooks is on the Rockets. Dylan Brooks, you look what you did. Look what you did, Dylan. This. Some unknown guy's tier list. That's what you did. All right, the Heat. See, like, we did in the mid 2000s. There was some of that. Wade, Kobe, but I feel like again we weren't necessarily. It's like they do it like a way you want to root for it, I feel like you want to. I know that might. Yeah, I'm gonna live with that. I know that might not be everyone's jam, but I don't want to. I don't typically root against the Heat. I don't necessarily think I root for them. They'll be at the bottom probably of this tier. Let's see, the Bucks. See, they were up here, then they won a championship, and then Doc Rivers. No, well, I love Giannis though. And you can't be the Clippers tier. You're not the Clippers. That's how the Clippers tier works. Well, you're right here. It just depends on the opponent. I think for the Bucks, whatever is a funnier storyline is what I want, and I think right now the funniest storyline a lot is how bad they are with Doc Rivers as their coach. But um, so we'll put it there, but we'll see. For the memes, it may be lower. The Timberwolves. You know what? I don't. Uh, uh, I don't necessarily root against them. You know, I feel like they've never they. It's been a while since they've had like a really like oh my god kind of team, and you know lacking titles, and it makes it harder to root against them. Also, Lakers, where originally our team is from Minnesota, so we gotta remember our roots. We don't got lakes in Los Angeles, right? But they have them in Minnesota. So we'll keep them. We root for them. The Pelicans. See, the Pelicans did us a solid. They gave us AD, and we gave them Brandon Ingram, who's doing well for them. You know, I think maybe in the long run is like I remember at first the trade was pretty lampoon, but then they tried to give us Chris Paul, but that wasn't the NBA's. That wasn't their fault. That was the NBA's fault. We'll sometimes root for you, but again, over that, well, I probably, you know what, we'll this feels better. Okay. Um, Knicks. So we got this other big city team. So it's like you got the normally I don't want to root for New York. That's kind of like our thing in LA. For well, not really our thing in LA. I feel like New Yorkers hate us a lot, and I don't know why. But a lot of people hate us a lot, and I don't always know why. Because a lot of times people hate the city, and then they come here and they're like, "Oh, some parts of it weren't as bad." I'm like, "Yeah, like living off of stereotypes isn't good, but this entire tier list is stereotypes, so I don't know." Um, God, it's just like here's the thing: when a team hasn't been good for a long time, it's hard. It makes it harder to root against them. So yeah, we'll put them rooting for. Am I rooting for them? See, this is the one thing that for New York, and I'm sorry, Brooklyn, this doesn't. I don't know why this doesn't apply to you, but this is a biased. This is not an objective measure of anything, right? This is just as biased as you can get, and that's why you came here. If you came for an objectivity lesson, right, you might not be as interested. But with the Knicks is like, I feel like big cities get a bad rap from a lot of people, and some of it is justified, but I feel like a lot of it is not. And you know what? So I feel that with my New York compadres. Thunder. You know what? I feel like I usually. This isn't every player on the team. I want to be very clear, but I feel like I usually root for the Thunder. But it's not Oklahoma's fault that they left Seattle, right? Because I feel anger about that, but that's not their fault. I mean, it's the owner's fault, but it's not like the Oklahoma's fault. You know what I'm saying? It's not the city's fault. Yeah, we'll keep it there. I think I usually root for the Thunder. Just um, the KD Russell Westbrook, just like Harden years. You got that. It was fun to root for them against the Heat. I also think this is a personal bias. I grew up. I have a weird fascination with tornadoes, and when I was in third grade in California, we do this like big like states like thing. So we learn about all of California's history, but we picked states that we had to do a project on. I did mine on Oklahoma because I'm so fascinated with tornadoes and the thunder, which to me tornadoes great name. That's very biased, but I guess I usually root for them. And also the Thunder have millions of picks, so that's always cool. The Magic, I'm rooting for them most of the time. We got Shaq from them. Dwight Howard, we got a lot of connections with bigs from Orlando. And I have no reason to root against them, and I find their current team quite fun. The Sixers, okay, if I'm see, it's fun to root against them. I feel like it was, but now isn't like, I don't dislike Joel Embiid. I feel bad he's hurt, but it's also like kind of funny when things, not the Joel Embiid. I never want anyone hurt, but like, you know, Sixers fans are notorious, and notorious has a negative connotation for a reason. Yeah, we're rooting against you. This root against here, I don't know which way's strongest. We'll just say for most of these tiers, don't really distinguish between the top or the bottom. It's just a tier. It's just in it. Tiers are what I feel like. The Suns. See, I feel like most Lakers fans would put in the root against. I'm sometimes partial to the Suns because like they're the closest team if I want to see a team like a game outside of like Los Angeles. I think Phoenix is actually probably easier to get to than San Francisco, funnily enough, from where I am. But I'm gonna put them in the depends on the opponent. Again, I think with them and the Bucks, I feel similarly. Whatever is the funniest storyline is what I'm gonna root for. Portland, also, that's just really depends on the team that they're against. I don't have strong feelings about Portland. The Kings, now there's Kings fans hate the Lakers, and I don't blame them, you know, given what happened with referees and Western Conference championships. I don't think the Lakers had anything to do with it. I don't think that it's the Lakers' fault what happened, but the Lakers were involved, and I understand being a target for the animosity, though the target should be the referee himself. But it's hard. It's tough because I know Kings fans hate Lakers fans, but also like I want to light the freaking beam sometimes, you know. So I'm gonna say I usually root for the Kings, and that may be seen as a hot take by some of my other Lakers fans. We also got the purple connection in our logos, which is also nice. And you know what? You know, Sacramento. I guess I can't hate everywhere in California. Okay, the Spurs. Oh goodness. So if this was like pre 2015, we'd be here. But now it's like 20. Okay. I want to be very clear what I'm going to say. I want the Spurs to be good enough with Victor that I'm going to root against them because I love the Spurs Lakers rivalry that happened for, you know, like for so long with Tim Duncan and Kobe. It's just lots of championships between those teams. So we're gonna say that, but they like it was respectful usually though there was some dirty plays. Okay, yes, Spurs. I currently root for you, but I want a future where I don't root for you. Does that make sense? It doesn't, but it does to me. Okay, the Raptors. I sometimes root for you. I have no strong feelings about you. I sometimes root for you. You know, gotta represent Canada. I rooted for you against the Warriors, though the Warriors being hurt was not the way I wanted you to win that championship. So yeah, the Jazz, I feel very neutral about. Just how I feel about the music jazz. Actually, no, I really like the music jazz, but you're not. There's no jazz in Utah. Yeah, I think it really depends on the opponent for the Jazz. Leaves the Wizards. Now, generally, I'd say in this tier, right, you have mostly teams that are good, you know, or recently good, right? That's why they're in here. You know, you typically, if a team's a bottom rung team, it's usually don't root against them unless you have some moral conflict from them or the rivalry is so deep. But the Wizards, I have no reason for this. It's just kind of, it's just bad basketball, and it makes it kind of fun. Like, I want to root against you because like the other teams when they lose that are bad teams, like the Pistons, I felt bad about, right? Their players are so sad. And then the Spurs, Wemby is so sad. And then like all these, like, except for, you know, I know that they're this year, but like the Pistons, like the Hornets, like I just kind of feel bad. But the Wizards, it's like kind of funny. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you don't. All right, so this is my my tier list as a very biased Lakers fan. Um, there's no rhyme or reason for a lot of this, but these are the teams I usually root for. Again, view it as a tiering system. So if someone's facing someone, look which tier they're in. If they're in the same tier, I'm probably pretty neutral. Again, I tend to default to, if I have no skin in the game, what is the funniest or most interesting outcome, which means upsets or, or like weird ways to lose. So, yeah, that's it.